My name is Ryan. I own a landscape company called Luck Gardenworks in Newcastle, Colorado. And this is an example of one of the properties that we have worked on. And our whole philosophy is to try and emulate nature as much as possible because we think that's what plants want and that's what everything is gonna it's gonna thrive in that way. So we love to use paonia soil. We do no weed barrier, and we like to use paonia soil because it's a good local product and it really just helps to build the organic matter in the soil and give the plants what they need to do their thing. And plants always know what to do, and if you just try to help them along and emulate nature as much as possible, then you can really end up with some beautiful landscapes that are a benefit to their local ecosystem.
What does that do for your company as a whole?
It really allows us to get the quick results that people want when you plant stuff in a landscape. For example, this yarrow over here, all of these were #1 plants about 2 months ago was when we did this planting. So we did the top dressing of paonia soil last fall. And then these plants have been in the ground for about 2 months, and they started in a pot about that big and we're probably only about this tall. And so this is the example of what paonia soil does for us. It gives us that instant gratification for our clients where you can get a garden that looks like it has been established for a few years in a short amount of time. And like I said, the proof's in the pudding. When you look at a plant that has just blown up in such a short amount of time, there's really only so many things that could cause that, and it's the soil.
What were some of the challenges that you guys are faced with when you were doing the expansion and redesign of this scape?
The biggest issue in this part of Colorado is the soil, the compact soil. Whether it's under this grass now or when we sod cut this, it's just when these lots get built, everything beneficial gets taken off site and it gets compacted so hard. So when you go and you sod cut the grass, this bed was originally out to about right here. And she obviously, with these big spruce trees, was not getting enough light to keep things growing. So we sod cut the grass out, but that process does cause a lot of soil compaction, which obviously is not the most ideal. So that, I think, was the biggest challenge to make sure the plants are happy, is to get them to take off in not an ideal situation. But I think, like I said, the top dressing of the longevity specifically at this property, I think, is part of the reason that everything has just thrived so quickly. And that even though the native soil here right now is not very hospitable, obviously everything is happy with what it's getting. So
What's underneath all this mulch?
nothing but longevity. We do not use any weed mat. Weed barrier causes a ton of compaction issues, and it does not really do a whole lot for weed suppression. So our method has been to ditch the weed barrier, go with building your soil, because the weed barrier is very detrimental to soil health. And then just a nice thick layer of shredded red cedar mulch is our go-to. It's kind of our preferred mulch. It looks very nice and it creates a really great, almost creates a carpet when it gets wet, versus other mulches don't really absorb the water itself, but this mulch holds it really well. So that combination has been a really winning thing for us, the longevity and a good layer of mulch. And as you can see, you've got some grasses and stuff coming up in here. It's not that you're never going to have any weeds, but there's plenty of beds probably throughout this whole neighborhood that are full of plastic weed mat that have just as much, if not more, weeds than this has. This has not been touched for going on 2 months now. Nobody has been in here weeding, and obviously you can see the results. You've actually got more beneficial plants sprouting up out of nowhere and very few weeds, very few noxious weeds, nothing that's going to be spreading itself. So to us, that's the ticket, is to, like I said earlier, emulate nature. There's no plastic weed fabric in nature.